So guys, I think we got through,
It's really hot.
okay.
It's really hot.
I think we got through the third horseman. Is that true?
You said we'd have to have like an entire lesson on the fourth one. Something like that.
Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, we ended on the previous slide.
Okay.
Previously.
If I only had time, we would do stuff like that.
Oh, what the heck?
I say we started.
Yo,
at
Josh
8:30.
just posted a new video on his channel.
Oh, that was important, urgent news. I'm glad that we have this. This has been Ryan with.
This week on News with Ryan.
Back to you, Charlie.
All right, Revelation.
Another Mr. Charlie made it to class.
Yes. Revelation chapter 6.
Also, this no.
Okay.
First verse that we're reading.
You're about
What
to
is,
get a
what
marker.
is, do we need to pray again? What's happening?
You're about to get a marker. This is why you get markers.
Boy, darling, you're right. That is hot. Ooh.
Yeah, the coffee pot downstairs isn't working, but out in the, where they fill up the big coffee thing,
Yep.
that's where I got your water.
Oh, okay.
It's really hot.
It is hot. Thank you for telling me. Okay, Revelation chapter 6, verses 7 and 8. We're going through the fourth horseman here. We've been through the first three, looked at some interesting possibilities of those. But we're going to get into the fourth horseman today, and then we can try to finish up the chapter. So, in this particular couple of verses, and when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. Now, when you think of pale, what do you think of? I know what I think of. I think of white. I think of white, the color white.
White.
Yeah,
Someone is in shock.
yeah. So it has different meanings.
The color has run from the veins, so
Yep.
there's less blood behind the skin,
Yep,
so they look sick. Cardiogenic shock.
yep. And that's really what we're getting at here. And his name that sat on him was, did I read that right? Death. And hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. Sorry, beasts of the earth. Now, we had, for those that are kind of running ahead in their mind, well, Mr. Charlie COVID could have fit that realm, right? No, it could not have, for two reasons. What's reason number one?
It didn't actually kill the fourth republic.
That's correct. That's the biggest reason right there. Number two, were beasts killing us?
Yeah.
Only those that walk on
Go
two
ahead.
legs.
Go ahead.
So just let me backtrack a moment and understand your question. You're saying, now, I don't think that we've been through this,
No,
hands down, period.
I would agree with that.
But these are not necessarily beasts, it's a rider on a horse. So,
And with the beasts of the earth,
with the beasts of the earth. Yeah,
there's no way to take that any other way other than beasts in the earth, of the earth. Beasts
Sure.
around us.
sure, but here's what I'd say. I'd say that there's a number of different ways to read that. It could, but.
So
It hasn't happened-
let me,
It hasn't happened yet.
totally
Very cautious-
agree.
What I'm saying is be cautious about being dogmatic about how exactly that'll be. Just
Go ahead and give me an idea of what else it might be, though.
So, again, it could be anything from spastic, so one end, right, purely supernatural activity, the animals, it's like the birds, Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, and the birds are trying to kill everyone, right? It could be, have you watched that?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't watched it, but
Do you understand the premise?
Yeah.
It could be like that on one end. And on the other end, it could be anything from the biologics of the earth, from, someone, I've heard people make an interesting case for biological warfare in the form of like the Wuhan flu, right? So.
but is that beasts?
It's utilizing the beasts of the earth. It is a biological.
Oh,
So I'm not
man.
favorable to it, but I'm gonna say it's like just.
That makes me cringe.
I'm
Bad, really bad.
I think it's gonna be, I've heard it said, and what John Arthur is saying, guys, is true. We can make speculation on prophecy, but until prophecy happens, we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure.
I think actually in this instance, you're really saying the same thing I am. Because,
Just be,
well, but if you look at all four beasts, are we talking about pestilence at some point?
sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Guys, I want to make really clear here.
Plague specifically is actually what I was referring to. but-
Yeah, let me be really clear here, okay, before I go any further. I am a literalist. When it comes to Revelation, I'm hitting pretty literal. Are some of these things that we're talking about possible? Absolutely. Absolutely. So your interpretation of Revelation is really going to depend on how you interpret all of God's Word. Okay? It's all related. And I'm a pretty strong literalist. That's why I make that emphasis there, because when it comes to this part, I really believe, yeah, we're going to have a bunch of beasts lions coming out of the jungle, elephants going ahead and trampling on people, and so on. That's me. I also totally agree that there will be the Wuhan type thing. Biological weapons to me is absolutely a possibility. I'd probably call it more than a possibility. It's a probability, but that's just me. Are you okay?
I wanna interject something here when you're done talking.
I'm done.
I want to say that I think that it would make sense, because this is a time of judgment. And remember, at the beginning, God had to put fear into animals for man, right? Most animals fear man. You have your grizzly bears, your things of that nature. But for the most part, when an animal sees human, they run. And it would make sense to me that fear would be gone as a way of judgment, because the fear was put there for man's protection. But now this is judgment. So that does make sense, but again, we won't know until we actually witness what's happening.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
word studies are fun.
Tell me what you found.
So I looked up the word death. So the name of him who sat on it, death, being Thanatos,
Uh-huh.
which is death, pestilence, fatal, danger of death. And then later on, with death is Thanato, which more literally means plague.
Okay.
So it's, the name of him is death, and then one of the ways that he's going to kill a fourth of the population is with plague.
Yes. Yes. I would totally agree with that. Note this. The word for pale, chloros. What do you think of? I know what I think of. First word. Oh, come on, you science maniacs. Thank you. And it means what? In the plant world.
Well,
No. I'm waiting for her.
Oh, me?
Yaz?
That,
I haven't been to science class in like 3 years.
That's okay. Chlorophyll is what? What color?
Green.
Green. And green in the plant world usually means life. Now, what's interesting here is that when you look at that, it's a pale green. And when we think of pale green, what do we think of? That goes to what John Arthur said a moment ago. Pretty sickly. So, it's decaying flesh. And that's not so fun. You ever walked in an area where there's been a dead animal? Yeah. I think when it comes to the fourth horseman, just the smell on earth is going to be pretty staunch. It's going to be nasty. We got
Montgomery's rooting for the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, right? Decaying flesh, disease, putrefaction. I misspelled it. It's putrefaction. This horse visually communicates corruption and mortality. And we are being set up for that in a big way right now on this earth. Big way. So you guys give me examples of how you would see it. Where do you see it? Where do you see corruption and mortality? Well, corruption.
Well, I see corruption in political parties.
Political parties, what?
I was going to say yes.
Yeah.
You can see it.
It's,
anywhere. You can see it
it's,
in the American church. You can see it in businesses. You can see it everywhere.
End
Yeah.
stage of this is sex change.
you think it is?
And no, so I'm saying an end stage of what you're describing is a sex change. Let me
Okay.
describe somewhat.
You're using that as a metaphor.
I'm going to editorialize a little bit, but after about 5 years, the material that they cut from one part of the body to form and malform another part of the body starts to rot off the body.
Isn't that amazing?
And so it's when we try to play God
Yes.
that we
Yes.
start to reap the consequences that what was once good is now lethal, and it is dragging you into the grave.
To
And
me,
dragging
it's
you
going-
from God.
It's going back to Babylon, the tower, and just trying to ascend to the Most High and say, see, we're here. I see it in, you said political parties, you said everywhere, totally agree. On a world stage, where would I see it?
NATO not paying their freaking share.
Right there. NATO and the WHO, World Health Organization.
You would eat bugs. Happy.
What's the other one? United Nations. Now, you might be wondering, well, Mr. Palmer, why are you really bringing up all that stuff? I'll tell you why I'm bringing up all that stuff. Because it's already seated, it's already entrenched. It can be utilized very easily. Now, don't walk out of here fretting and whatnot. Who's still on the throne? I have to tell you, I'm not joking when I say this. Last night I was laying in bed and I was thinking about, I don't know why I was thinking about this. I don't. But it came to my mind. And here's different people. Oh, I know what part of it was bringing on. Part of it was the war in Iran. And Trump's being accused of this and that, so on and so forth. And I honestly think that he probably had some knowledge that we definitely don't have that really necessitated what happened. And I'm thinking of Hegseth and others just trying to fight off all these organizations that are trying to really tear them down. And here they are fighting, and here's the image that I want you to see. I want you to see God the Father on the throne, and all of that fighting is underneath his feet. It's nothing to God.
No.
He understands it all. He's in control.
And people don't
And it's
realize-
not causing him any anxiety.
Yeah, well, people don't realize, do you know that in one day, kingdoms can fall. Ideas change. One day. Do you think Trump got elected and the way, all that election of 2024 didn't have tons of prayer behind it? Those were people praying for righteousness against the evil that was growing in our country.
And evil it was growing.
No, that doesn't mean that Trump is, we know what Trump is, okay? We know what Trump is. He may not even, he may be saved, he may not be saved, but we know he's got problems. But that doesn't matter. God will use whoever he chooses to use to get things done.
Like Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes.
Yeah, Cyrus.
Yep.
I mean, they're just, God can use whoever he wants to. You know, I was thinking of Nehemiah and
Artaxerxes or Xerxes.
He was not a righteous man. He wasn't even a Christian. But what did he let? He gave Nehemiah a pass. Go back to Jerusalem and rebuild.
King James authorized the Bible to be written in English.
I don't know why we think that the person who plows down the road for us to move forward has to be saved. They just have to be motivated by the Lord to do what is right.
The heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord.
Great word there. All right, let's go to Lamentations 4:8. Shall we? We shall. Let's do it. And if I could get somebody to read that. It's that small little book toward the end of the Old Testament.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Their visage is blacker than coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered and become like a stick.
Wow. My
Brutal.
when I was younger, and I'm talking in my teens, early teens, my mother would threaten to take me to the hospital for malnutrition.
Well, you were so skinny.
I was skin and bone, really. And I had the things I wanted to eat and I had the things I didn't want to eat. By the way, that does not mean that I ate well. I'm just telling you, there's like, my mother would fix bean soup. I'm sorry. I'm not doing bean soup. Sorry.
You don't order the charo
Yeah, right?
at the Mexican restaurant?
No. So let me speed up here a little bit. When it comes to looking sickly, I mean, skin and bone is what I look like, and she would threaten to take me. That's what that verse really is talking about. You look really pale and thin and sickly. Let's take a look at another verse. Jeremiah 30, verse 6. I guess.
Someone pulling that up. The word withered
Yep.
is yabashe,
Uh-huh.
which also can be translated as ashamed, confused, or disappointed. So their bones are shamefully withered. I thought that's interesting because there's actually a moral connotation behind
Yeah.
that kind of rhymes with.
I wonder if that word shame that would be an interesting word study right there.
Yeah, it is.
Because to me, I go back to Genesis.
Yeah.
Huh. Jeremiah 30, verse 6.
This is interesting.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Ask now and see whether a man is ever in labor with a child.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I could have sworn you were reading something that might have been out of a different Bible. Go ahead and read that one more time.
Oh gosh. Ask now and see whether a man is ever in labor with a child.
Okay. So for those of you that need to
Know No way
have a
to-
direct statement biblically about this issue of transgender, you could pull that verse out and take a look at that. It's a great question. Go ahead.
So why do I see every man with his hands on his loins like a woman in labor, and all faces turned pale?
It's interesting, we read that whole verse and we didn't get to the real crux of it until the very end. The very last word. And all faces are turned into paleness. Let's go to Isaiah 29:22.
Greenish yellow.
Oh, it's sickly. That is so bad.
Ye rakone. Ye rakone.
Isaiah 29:22. Somebody got that?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Therefore, thus says the Lord, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. Jacob shall not now be ashamed, nor shall his face now grow pale.
Speaking to the issue of fear and distress. Leviticus 13:49. Leviticus 13:49. Let me read that one for you. And it says this: and if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment, what would that indicate right there? Anybody know? That's an infection.
Yeah.
Okay. And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment, or if in the skin, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be showed unto the priest. This is corruption, decay. We're talking about the pale horse. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to give you some imagery of what it looks like. It absolutely looks sickly. It looks decaying. It looks corrupted. It does not look right. Maybe that's another way to put it. So the irony here, green in God's world is usually life. Look at the plant world. That's usually what it is. This chapter seems to indicate a false life.
Or end of life.
End of life. Death disguised in the hue of vitality. Well, here's why I use that statement. Because when you look at the four horsemen, and we look at the first one especially, what are we tempted to think if we're not doing our study? We think we're looking at Jesus, but we've already shown you that can't be him. It's a fakeness. That's what Satan is all about, making himself look like the real thing. He's an imitation.
And he's very good at it.
He's very good at
He
it.
can get very close.
Yep.
So I'd say false life, I'd say something else living that shouldn't be there. Whenever you have an infection,
Mhm.
the thing that makes gangrene is that you have something else growing, and it is parasitically growing in the organism, and the organism is dying. So it's not a accident that leprosy was often connoted with sin. It's not an accident that infection works the way it does. It works the same way sin does.
Mhm.
It's not a false life. It is a cancerous life, if I can use that analogy.
It ends in death.
It ends in death. It's something else that you have, something else is growing in your body that ought not grow there.
So, let's come on to the writer, death. As you aptly noted earlier, thanatos. And the Greek usage is the physical separation of the soul from the body. I like that. The state of death, the condition of being dead. Figuratively, spiritual death, separation from God. Now, by implication, in certain contexts, pestilence or deadly plague in normal times, food is sold. Whoop, that was a bad one. Sorry. That shouldn't have been there. Forgot to wipe that line off. My bad. Now, in classical and Koine Greek, thanatos primarily denotes literal death. However, in the Septuagint, Greek Old Testament, thanatos is often used in passages describing judgment and can function broadly to include violent death, plague, mortality is a force. If you think about this, guys, it's really interesting to see what we've had up to this point. So we've had what for the first horseman? What was the first horseman?
The white horse, the bow with no arrows.
Yep, which kind of indicated what for us?
Peace through strength,
Mm-hmm.
peace with, at least without violence.
That's it. Number two. Horse number two was what? Say reddish.
Red.
The red horse. And that was what? Conquering. Okay. Going to be violent. Peace is taken. Kind of negates the first horse, doesn't it?
Well, you gotta get power.
Okay. Then we get to the third horse, which was what?
Black.
Black. What did that indicate?
Scarcity.
Mm-hmm. That was controlled distribution, if you will. Remember, we were talking about the difference between selling in bulk. That's where that statement came from, by the way. Selling in bulk or by literal balances. Okay. I remember, I don't think I shared this last week, but I remember going with my dad to the feed store at times, and we usually made our own cattle feed because we grew our own crops and everything. We could do that. And once in a while, though, we would have to go to the feed store, and when Dad would go, they'd have it bagged up, bagged up in the burley bags, and guess what they put it on? The scale, and they were weighing it. It's not something you would typically do in a time when you've got plenty, but that's what was done there, and I remember it. Scarcity. The black horse was scarcity. So now we're getting to this stage here, and I am a total, guys, any Bible study leader that tells you we do not need the Old Testament, you should walk out of the room immediately. Do not look back lest you turn to a pillar of salt. Wait, no, that's a different story. Just leave. Just leave.
Results may vary.
The results may vary.
Results may vary.
But you don't want any part of that. When you look at Revelation, you can really see the tie back to a lot of things in the Old Testament. And you'll see it throughout the whole book, not just in one area. So when we're talking about this thanatos, violent death, plague, mortality is a force. That means you're not going to control it. The thing that bothers me regarding the COVID, that could have been dealt with. There were a lot of people that died that did not need to. There were doctors that were in really tough positions, and I'm not gonna get into that. I am gonna say this though. Did we eventually control it? Yes, we did. We eventually did. When this horse comes, there's not going to be any controlling it. A fourth of the population is going to get wiped out, and you're not going to see anybody do anything about it. We've got 7 people in here. We've been averaging 8 on a Sunday morning. That would mean 2 would be gone. Using the statistics.
If you're not part of the elect, raise your hand.
Yeah.
I was going to say, hopefully we'd all be gone.
I'm just using that as an analogy.
Since we're in a room full of preachers.
Yeah.
I think prior to this, when the rapture will happen, I think it's gonna put a real strain on infrastructure in every country. Well, major.
Oh, I agree with that.
And so,
Yes.
So it's gonna put a strain on that, and then you have the peace that comes, the person that stands up, and everybody's gonna be ready to give peace. It's gonna be chaos, and they're gonna be ready to give their allegiance to him. And then when the violence comes, I don't think there's gonna be a preparation for that, and so there's gonna be a lot of death there, so there's gonna be more chaos. And then when you get to this play, I don't even think people are gonna have.
Apocalypse, zombie apocalypse is a real possibility.
Yeah, I think that it's not gonna be like, well, let's run to the doctor, I think it's gonna be even harder to get to a doctor, harder to get to a hospital.
The Book of Eli?
Yeah, the Book of Eli is my second favorite movie.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's the perfect allegory, it's Denzel Washington, it's the perfect allegory of the Christian man discipling while protecting God's word. He's got the last Bible on earth.
Oh.
The Bibles have been burned.
Oh.
They were blamed for the apocalypse.
Got it.
And so it's post-apocalyptic like Mad Max, but less nihilistic. It's actually, someone slipped in at the end, a Quran and the Talmud to like try to make it less Christian-y, but like some director slid that in, but the whole thing was about Eli reciting the word and taking in the word every day and discipling someone. And it was one of the few action movies in the past few years that the male-female leads were not sexual in chemistry. It was a father-daughter type relationship. It was really good. Should watch it.
Take a look at that.
Not good eschatology, but very fun.
Yeah, no, but I was saying like just that kind of world is what
That's where it's gonna
I
be.
imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hell followed with him. In the Greek, that's Hades. This is the Greek word. This is the temporary or intermediate abode of the dead, the grave. It is the harvesting scene for this horseman. I want you to note something here. This is really interesting, this part here. Go back to Revelation 6, and let's read verses 7 and 8 one more time. There's really something that stands out here that I love the way it comes across. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. What comes to your mind when you see that?
There's a higher power than them.
How about Job? What was the conversation that Satan had?
If
Ah.
you take everything away from him, he will curse you to your face.
Failed on try one. And then went to have another conversation. And God said, do with him what you want, but don't kill him. That you're not going to do. What was God granting?
Power.
Mm-hmm.
Authority.
Yep. Yep.
But to your point, it's very interesting to see that Satan listened. He didn't kill Job.
Well, he couldn't.
He
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yep.
So in him, all things are held together. I think in some, so here's a question, don't have any answer to it. Is Satan made of the same stuff that we are, or is he of a purely metaphysical? Don't have an answer for that. Is Satan being held together? Or is he of a different stuff? Don't know. It would still be sub God. It would be it would have been something that God created.
I was going to say, he's
Or
created.
he is a former created, but is he being held together? Don't know. I would assume yes.
I think there's so
So
many
he
things
has
that
to.
we have yet
I don't know if he ever will.
Not until maybe when we get to heaven, you know, I mean, there are just, you know.
We'll care a lot less, though.
we'll
Yeah.
care a lot less, yeah.
Yep.
But there's so many hidden things, I mean, the Lord only reveals to you what you can handle.
And what
And
you
some
need.
people don't care to know more, and so they're not gonna learn more.
So someone might have a biblical theory on what stuff Satan is made of. I'm not sure that it changes anything. It's interesting. But
Yep.
I suspect that Satan is at some level dependent on God's will to exist. I suspect. Just as we are. We are dependent on God's will. Our moment-to-moment existence is contingent on God willing it so. Actively.
So 1/4 of the Earth's population is killed, and in today's metrics, roughly 8 billion people means 2 billion. That's with a B, would die. That's something that CNN would not be able to deny. That would be so, yeah. I'm not sure they make it to this point. But the point being, the news will not be able to explain that away. 2 billion people. That's a lot. Now I want you to think about 2 billion decaying, rotting bodies.
I don't think they'll decay and rot.
Okay.
To quote Clint Eastwood and Sister Sarah, or Two Mules for Sister Sarah, Sister, are those vultures God's creatures too?
I won't deny that.
I think they're gonna be very happy animals.
I wouldn't deny that.
Unless they die from eating some sort of contaminant. Or
That's an interesting point.
So don't know. But that aside, I think the Karen creatures are gonna enjoy themselves. Sadly.
All right. Fourth part of the earth, if you are a literalist, and that means 25% of the population dies. That has never happened in human history before. I'm bringing this up, huh?
I said the Black Plague came close.
Not even, because it only was
Nope.
a regional plague.
I would totally agree. I've researched this.
So you probably regionally it may have, but
It killed a
worldwide.
third regionally, but the thing is the Indians, well, yeah.
No,
It wasn't.
it wasn't.
The people who had, that killed slowly, it progressively killed at different times. It killed the Indians in roughly a third when it came here, but it's not one event. It was spread out over, like the Chinese and the Indians, whoever was, forgive me, fornicating with animals and the fleas, you know, that's how the plague starts. With animals and dead humans, those two things, that's how those things start. They had already reaped the benefit, and then when we started to trade with them, that came over here, and so the population, it just shifted from place to place.
I want to say that I looked that up, and I thought my research said that it was about 15%. So,
Because it was a third of Europe,
yeah.
but that's not the overall.
Yep. Yep.
I said close. I didn't say it.
Well-
We ain't dogging you.
Yeah.
Just making it clear.
I want you to know the Greek phrase, tetargos hoge. And it means fourth part of the soil, region, or globe. Is this population or landmass? Ooh, that's an interesting question. That is an interesting question. Case one for population. The immediate context is death by sword, hunger, pestilence, beasts. If geography were primary, you'd expect land destruction language. You don't see that here. Argument number two, Revelation 9:15 says, to slay the third part of men. Same book, same author, and explicit fraction. Okay. Fourth part of the earth, continued. Case number 1, population. Argument number 3, narrative flow of the seals shows conquest, war, famine, and death. That's on people, not land. And I would agree with that. Argument number 4, the historic futurist teaching usually treats fractions as demographic and emphasize unprecedented mortality. And that's what that would absolutely be, unprecedented. All right, let's make the case for geography. Argument number 1, gay often means land or region. Examples, land of Israel, land of Egypt. It could mean a territorial quadrant. Number 2, later trumpet judgments affect 1/3 of trees, 1/3 of seas, and 1/3 of rivers. These are ecological geographical zones. Good case to be made. That's an argument. Number 3, ancient worldview of the earth. Biblical writers often used earth to mean the known world, the Roman world, or a major region. This is not necessarily the entire globe. That's an interesting postulation. I'm not sure I agree with that, but
It says all of Egypt, and then Goshen was spared
yep,
in Exodus.
yep. So all I'm doing is I'm just giving you the arguments for each of these, okay? Argument number 4, some interpreters reason coordinated death across exactly 25% of global population is abstract, hence a defined geographic region is more concrete. Okay,
So even with that Goshen example, if someone were to lean on that though, I find that weak. Because Exodus literally says, all of Egypt, but Goshen was spared. So it's like, we don't see the but Goshen.
yep,
We don't see that.
I would agree.
We see but the 144,000 aren't tormented. So there's like a delineation there.
Yep. I would strongly recommend you to remember the Tower of Babel. Because what has man always wanted to do?
Be like God.
Ascend to the heavens.
Ascend to the heavens. That's what man has always wanted to do. And God took care of that back at the Tower of Babel. Would you say that we are getting there today again?
Absolutely.
Totally.
Share AirPods.
I'm with Daniel. I believe that AI may be that one tool that puts us on the precipice.
Dude, put Neuralink and AI together.
You've got something unreal.
If it wasn't for my caution as a Christian, I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It
Yeah.
sounds amazing. But then there's you're offloading your linguistic capabilities to a chip. But that's how they're going to sell it.
Yep.
You're going to be subhuman if you're not able to articulate and then speak Chinese and then speak Japanese all in the next frame without having spent the time to learn it.
I would agree.
And they'll tie that to your currency.
Horseman number 4, don't miss this. And with the beasts of the earth. Now what does this mean? So death, again, I believe that this will be death comes by wild beasts. Those animals that typically are carnivorous in nature, right? So you could make a case for dogs.
My mom
Sorry.
thinks your dogs are going to turn on you
I-
and shred you to pieces.
I believe that would be possible.
Do you know, it may also be, I just said earlier that, the fear of man will be taken away from, but it's very possible that animals get a virus.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
if there is-
possible.
And it causes, just like, what is it that,
Like rabies.
rabies, yes, like rabies, something to that effect.
The mechanism doesn't necessarily matter. Some people get really mad when I try to put a natural mechanism on God's. You don't know, and it
Right.
doesn't matter if God did it naturally or supernaturally. Again, I'll refer to my friend Greg Volk. His opinion and I don't hold to it necessarily, but I find it's interesting. God doesn't unnecessarily do supernatural things. He just does things on a level of supernatural intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And he works, Greg's thesis is God's got a logic and order. He's not going to circumvent his own logic and philosophical order that he
That's
set.
right.
He's just working on a level that we can't comprehend, and it might as well be supernatural. But anyway, it doesn't matter how it happens.
Animals do have a very good senses about them. Do you not think they will sense the human death toll going on around them? They'll sense it.
Yeah.
They'll sense it. They will see it. Yep. Say it again.
And they'll join in on the carnage.
Yeah. See the order here? They'll see it. They'll smell it. And guess what? They will hear it. And I didn't put the last piece in, but John Arthur's exactly right. They'll join in on it.
They'll feast on it.
Yep. Let's go to Leviticus 26:22 and Ezekiel 14:21.
What a day to be a cat lady.
So, Ryan, would you get Leviticus 26:22?
Yeah.
And Daniel, would you get Ezekiel 14:21?
Sure.
And Ryan, when you get there, go ahead and have at it.
I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, destroy your livestock, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate.
Wow. Read that again, please.
I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, destroy your livestock, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate.
Somebody, please go ahead and try to tell me the Old Testament doesn't matter. Go ahead. Daniel.
For thus says the Lord God, how much more it shall be when I send my four severe judgments on Jerusalem, the sword and famine and wild beast and pestilence, to cut off man and beast from it.
Well, well, well. This is a very interesting horseman. Really interesting. Note this. Animals rely on scent, sound, and movement patterns. If human presence disappears, animals' territory expands, their boldness increases, and hunting patterns change.
Yeah, we have three examples of this right now. There are three animals that actively hunt people when they're around.
What-
Polar bears,
Yep.
jaguars, and tigers.
Mm-hmm.
Jags more so whenever they're
CJ goes
more
to,
hungry, but tigers and polar bears for sure.
It's a game for them.
so
Yeah.
CJ's been in Alaska up there out on the oil rig, which is really remote. He's gotta go a couple hours on this machine.
It's on the north slope.
Yes. So the
He's a roughneck
building,
now?
No. He goes up for literally data-related things.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
part of his
What?
team is up there.
Okay.
So the bottom of the building is off the ground because it's frozen, and there's a cage. And they
Literally a cage.
and it's for the bears, to protect them from the bears. They said it won't stop them, the bears will be able to get through it, but it'll give you enough time to, you know. So CJ asked the question. He said, when you get out and you're going from one building to another, you actually have to assess everything around you. You have to look to see what's out there. And CJ asked one of the guys, he goes, have you ever seen a polar bear? And the guy says, it'll be too late if you ever see a polar bear, because they hunt you.
So,
They'll track you for 100 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. And they go into towns. They'll actually go into small towns up there.
You don't belong in Alaska without a 12-gauge shotgun.
amen.
With slugs.
Amen. Summarizing the verses here. So we got four instruments of judgment. We've got the sword. We've got the hunger. We've got death. And we've got beasts of the earth. You like my picture?
Yes.
Notice
Other
how
than, I've got to get that one. Yeah. I got to get the arrow out. But
This is how the progression goes, though, from a state that has embraced godliness
mm-hmm.
to one that has unhooked itself from the foundation.
Yep.
You'll start off with peace that's built on godliness, and then it'll fall into bloodshed. And the result of that bloodshed is famine, plague, pestilence, and then there's
Yep.
the end stages of death. It's ultimately a final indictment on mankind from unhooking ourselves from God's law.
Yeah. Yep.
You see this exact progression in Judges a dozen times, just on a very small scale.
It's probably one of the best images I've ever found on the Four Horsemen. We're going to get into the rest of chapter 4. I haven't finished it up, but we're going to get into the rest of chapter 6. Sorry, chapter 6. I got to update my slide. Any questions? Have you solidified some learnings up to this point in Revelation? Tell me what has stuck out to you. Not struck out, stuck out. What has stuck out to you on what we've learned up to this point?
Authority is given.
I like that. I like that. Which begs the question, from whom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Who else?
I like the, I guess I can see for the first time how a person can come in and bring peace without violence. I think that the world is getting set up for that right now. I think that's very interesting.
Yep.
Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
The last 5 years have been eye-opening.
Yes, I would agree.
Would never have imagined it going this way.
Totally agree.
I know the Lord says that rejoice when you see the end near, but sometimes I do have a real problem with it. Because I know the people that I really care about don't have it, Lord, and they're just not interested. They're just not interested.
Just remember God's sovereign.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There won't, I really don't believe there's gonna be a single person in hell who says, oh, if I'd only chosen righteousness. That there's not gonna be a single person, it wasn't their ultimate decision.
It's what they
Right.
wanted.
Right, absolutely.
God has every opportunity to reach you. And you have every opportunity to respond.
That's good.
Want to do a word study on pale, because those were different words in the Hebrew, but with similar.
Which
roots.
ones?
So for palish green. For green.
Tell me what you found.
So, Yarak, rock. It's kind of a hard one to say. It's one in Leviticus, as opposed to, I'm looking for the other palish one. I've got to pull them all out because they're different words. Some of the Hebrew words are different and they have different connotations. So I'd like to actually.
So I'll tell you what, can you do this? I don't want to add on to the things that you have to do, but could you do a half-hour little
No, that's.
pull out on that?
That might be worth it. I'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. I'd like to actually kind of dig into that.
And let's go over that next week before we push on to the remainder of chapter 6.
It might be a nothing.
Yeah.
But if there was something, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
It is an interesting poll that you have there.
Okay.
I'm finished pulling that thread.
Anybody else? Very good. Appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much. If you would, probably right now more than at any point than you have before, if you would please pray for Arabelle. This is the time. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about the tug of war competition, right? You're watching. You're not participating, you're watching. And you've got the team that you're rooting for. Okay? That's what I want you to see with her. She has had some great victories this last week. Praise the Lord. You'll also understand in tug of war, it's all about momentum. And I'm sensing that the momentum is starting to shift, and I'm asking you to pray that it finishes and finishes well. That's what I would ask you to do. I know she would be very appreciative of it. We would as well. And we're looking forward to her getting home and
She,
being better.
she has to choose to go to therapy